Alright, here we are in the middle of the rainstorm. So, water's flowing by gravity. And that pond is full. Full. Way up to the tip top. Look at the fish are like going to jump out onto the deck. Okay, so now I'm confused. I gotta call the bank, and I deposited some checks yesterday, and I thought that one was from Marguerite for $138, and then I got cash in another envelope from what I thought was Scott, but it's the other way around. Scott sent the $138 for the lava plate, and there was no writing on it, so that, you know, you guys, when you send a check, gotta say what it's for, because I'm not just dealing with one person. And the email is not attached to the letter when it comes in the mail, and plus you guys got nicknames online, so make it easy for me, okay? Otherwise I'm gonna get confused bad. So, Coca Loco time. Rain. I think sun over my shoulder. My goodness. Yeah. Well, that doesn't taste sweet enough. Maybe it's because I made too big a cup. Anyway. Oh, I'm upset. Because Cindy, I love you, Cindy, don't take this bad. She thinks my thoughts on 9/11 are conspiracy theories, but anybody who, I ask you, Cindy, please do some investigation, do some more research into the matter, and don't take the TV version. And if you know, you may know somebody that died in there, and you may know that what people on the ground were confused, didn't know what was happening until after the fact, and after the fact more and more information came out, and after the fact all the connections were made, and after the fact all the evidence that came out years later, not like the fake NIST investigation where they used the people on the inside. I mean, it's ridiculous if you go through the who's who of the whole thing. You have to know the big picture. Dick Cheney and Halliburton had a lot to do with this perpetual war machine we got going. He's out of the limelight, but boy, he's raking in that money, I guarantee it. These people are monsters, and they're, you know, they're not what they're purported to be on TV. And politicians are just like celebrities. They have makeup and hair people, so they look, you know, presentable and believable. And like, you know, Dan Rather and Peter Jennings and the, you know, who you thought was your daddy giving you the news every night. It's not, it's not how they say it is, and you have to differentiate between propaganda, which is what our mainstream media disseminates, and reality. And the reality is the whole TV episode story of the 9/11 show was just that, a show. all that, you know, some guy in a cave is not going to outmaneuver NORAD and the defenses in the restricted airspace around DC with a jet airliner. I mean, it's just impossible, even by the standards of pilots. There are thousands of architects, engineers, and airplane pilots who say that what the official story, TV story, government story is impossible. These are people that are in the profession their whole life. Pilots their whole life. Not possible for some idiot who can barely get a single prop engine pilot's license to fly a jet into those buildings, all three of them. And you know, it's BS. And the one in Pennsylvania that went into the ground and disintegrated. All these planes disintegrated. What other plane wrecks have there ever been in history where the whole plane disintegrates? They don't. There's luggage, there's seats, there's bodies, you know. Except on this day, these miracles, and no other building in history collapsed by plane collision. And, you know, the World Trade Center got hit by a plane before. That was the test run, the Cessna. And they tried to blow it up before, too, test run. But, you know, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Do not believe what TV tells you to believe. Please, don't be stuck in that cognitive dissonance. I know it's hard to break through believing that everything you believe in is wrong or a lie, because that means your whole life is a lie if you know, are believing in the propaganda version of what America is supposed to be. But it's not. It's a corporatocracy. Corporations run this country. They run our politicians. They run the government. They control everything. They write the laws. They make it so they don't have to pay taxes. Bank of America paid no freaking taxes. None. Zero. Zip. Nada. I didn't know it was a 501c3 to be a bank. But the little people are paying more and more and more and more for every little thing. I mean, the price on everything is incrementally going up, squeezing out what little resources the bottom has. And it's so close. The collapse is so close. This is just like it was before the last depression. So many people, I mean, it's on a 100-year cycle, right? So many people forget history that they're going to be blindsided when the dollar collapses. And that's months away. Seriously, it could happen any day. Because when China and Russia start buying oil, not in the petrodollar, the world standard petrodollar is going to tank. It's going to tank, people. And there's going to be a run on everything. People are going to freak out because they're going to be watching TV. And TV is going to be lying to... You know, TV is going to be reporting on sensationalist whatever. You know, looting, riots, blood, bombs, you know, exciting things. You're not going to be showing the people out in the country who have a co-op and they feed themselves with their own produce. I got plenty of chickens to eat for a while. And rabbits in the freezer. And still one big old leg of lamb on the hoof. So you know you got to be good to be able to feed yourself for at least 30, 60, 90 days. Isn't that right, kitty? Cameo, kitty. Kitty come in with the back. But please, Cindy, look at the link that I did on your reply and follow the links to other links about pilots, the first responders for 9/11 Truth. There's going to be more people dying from the crap inside that blast zone than the people that died that day. The first responders and people in the aftermath are now, the number is reaching more than the 3,000 and what that died on that day. And if you don't think that our government would sacrifice 3,000 people in a false flag, you don't know our country and our government's history very well. It has no problem. And crazy people, psychos like Cheney, who want, more bombs, more death, bigger, better show. They don't care. They don't care about those people. I mean, they certainly don't care about the soldiers going off to die in these bullshit wars. We're not bringing democracy to anybody. We're not saving the world from terrorists. We created these terrorists. Now we're supporting Al Qaeda in Idlib. That's our freedom fighter of choice. Ain't that a bitch? 17 years ago, that's who we blamed for taking down the buildings, and now we support them. Doesn't that tell you anything about our government? They'll lie to you guys just so you keep on voting and keep on playing the game and keep on perpetuating their power so they can keep making money. Raytheon, Dynacorp, Teledyne, all those bomb-making places, 121 bombs a day. We got to keep dropping bombs, and 22 vets a day committing suicide every day, each and every day, while this shit keeps on going. And they don't care. The opioid problem over there, we don't have, I haven't seen anybody over here OD on opioids. I don't even know anybody addicted to opioids. But, all the different things that they're doing is headed towards, the collapse of democracy. The end of the empire. It's so scary close. So, don't believe me. Don't take my word for it. Even though I personally have held a torch to a piece of metal for more hours than I care to remember. And I'm telling you, you cannot melt 3-inch steel or cut it diagonally, the beams. With what? Jet fuel running down the inside? What was NIST's explanation for that? It's just not possible. That was a planned demolition. That building was brought down intentionally. It was a spectacle. It served many purposes for many greedy people. I'm telling you, you need to research it. The first responders that they aired on even on the TV, the first few times when the fireman, it was like explosions went boom, 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 boom. Well, that only aired a few times. And then, you know, it didn't air anymore. But people got it. It's on YouTube. You can, and people captured that. Thank God for computers and cameras and other people's eyewitness accounts and capturing things that weren't on the TV camera. And they just hush it. They go with the story, just like JFK. They go with the story and just perpetuate it and perpetuate it and perpetuate it. History needs to be corrected in so many areas, because the fake history that is on the books for your grandchildren is just, oh God, it's a shame. It's a shame. Because, you know, people have an agenda. They want to perpetuate the perpetual war paradigm because it's profitable for those who are profiting from it. And they don't have a conscience. It's blood money. Most of the people in the major networks are taking blood money because they perpetuate the lie. They're complicit. And so many of them are, you know, resigned to not being able to talk about it because they signed agreements. You know? The NDA can be like, what, 10 years in prison or $1 million fine or, you know, whatever it takes to scare you from keeping your mouth, you know, keeping your mouth shut. And if you are a whistleblower, look what happens to all the whistleblowers. Obama prosecuted more whistleblowers. And, you know, they still want to get Snowden. Snowden's a journalist, man. He just reported what other information was given to him. They're going after freedom of the press if they go after Snowden. They don't like what Snowden said because he spoke the truth to power. And you know what? They don't like their hand being shown. The truth is very painful for those that are concealing it for profit. And that's what our ruling class is doing. As clear as my fish pond. And I can see the bottom of my fish pond pretty good right now. So please, Cindy, don't lump it as conspiracy theories. Look at it as alternative theories. Because the theory that they put forth on TV is so fictional. It's Disney. George Lucas probably came up with this scenario, but it's just too crazy. But that's, you know, that's what they do. They put it in your face. They call a lie a truth, and they do it enough times you believe it. You know, I could brainwash you in 3 minutes, and you would be surprised. But I can't do it over the thing. It has to be face to face. We used to do it in grade school. Little mind games, and you can brainwash somebody. Boom. Very simple. Like magician's tricks. So you believe what you think you saw, and you believe what they told you to believe. But did you investigate it for yourself? Did you listen to anybody else who's an expert? Did you research it? Did you see? Did you read about the put options and the stock market and the gold and the trucks full of gold that one got stuck in the basement as they were, you know, there was a lot going on that day. And remember the day before at the Pentagon, and the we're missing some money. Geez, we don't know where all this money is. We can't account for it. And funny, that's the area of the Pentagon that gets hit the following day, where everybody that was doing the accounting for that, oops, missed money, all those people got wiped out. You're not supposed to, you know, talk about, I mean, it was all put together for multiple reasons. Not just one simple, oh, terrorists, they want to kill us. It's those people. That was the worst thing perpetrated on any race of people in the history of history, of the fake history. I mean, talk about the blame game. But now we're getting tired, they're getting tired of the Arabs, so it's all about the Russians again. The big badass Russians, who have half the population of the United States, and who are more European than Americans, because they're in Europe. Moscow and St. Petersburg are the capitals of Europe. They're not someplace over in the middle of Siberia. They're in Europe. They're a few hundred miles away from Rome. My God. They're closer than we are. We have no business meddling with Russian and European business. World War II's over. We don't need to be there. We don't even need to be, no one's going to be rolling tanks across borders like Hitler did. Those days are over. Everybody's got nukes. Everybody's got, you know, ICBMs. It's not going to happen. Those old ways of war are over. But there are people that are 80 and 90 years old who still want to keep that shit going. My God, I'm 65 and pot still is not on the shelf, legal like cigarettes and alcohol. Pot should be right next to alcohol and Safeway on the shelf. Or it should be in the vegetable aisle next to the lettuce. You know, bundles of it. For God's sake, it's a vegetable. Oh, shit. This country's so fucked up. This country is so fucked up. You say, why don't you leave it then? Well, I did. I moved to the Hawaiian Kingdom. I mean, we're not in the United States over here. Just ask anybody who's shipping. Because the United States is only 48 states. Alaska and Hawaii are like Puerto Rico or the Virgin Islands. Not part of the United States. Trust me, as backwards as this place is, it is the Wild Wild West. It's like a kind of version of the United States, probably like Tonga, or, you know, half a dozen other countries around the world that emulate the United States. We even have courts and American flags and judges that pretend to be corporate, you know, robed cult people in the black robes. That's all some sick shit, man. This country is really up to sickness backwards. But you know what? They're all ready for us now, because you know, they have all this technology. They can do. They can take over anytime they want. Everything's in place. They can, boom, drop the curtain. They can drop the Iron Curtain anytime they want. A lot of people will die. It doesn't matter. They won't be dying. They don't even live in the United States anymore. They have houses in Switzerland and on islands and in places that you don't know about, with well-armed personal militias guarding their estates. So when the shit goes down, it's only the little people who are going to be like caught in the shit. The oligarchs are not going to be in the, you know, wading through the mire and the muck with all the rioting metropolises and martial law and riots in the street. They'll be watching it on YouTube and on, you know, CCTV from their own system. They won't be watching mainstream media news. They'll be feeding mainstream media news. Nice, Chihuahua. What's up with you flies all of a sudden? I need a fly swatter out here. That's what I need. Where's my fly swatter? Keep the flies after the rain come. I'm bugging. I'm going to have to go inside and get my fly swatter to keep it up. Well, the doggies are being pretty good so far, and the rain stopped, and oh my God, there's some sun even coming over my shoulder. That's pretty bizarre, but it's going to be raining the rest of the day. So, maybe mop the floor. See about the bearings. You got to call the bank and figure that out stuff. And Marguerite, you said you sent a check for $50. I guess I didn't get that yet then. That's the only thing I can but I did get an envelope with a 20 in it, and I am so confused. And I only got those two envelopes yesterday. Sharon sent a box, so that wasn't confusing at all. But I'm still confused. I'll call the bank for more clarification in about an hour when they wake up. Because looking online, it doesn't give enough information. You gonna come over here? Come here. Come here. You gonna stand right there? Don't stand. Come here. Atta boy. Here. Come here. That's my boy. I don't want to do that. Oh, that's making me. I need to go pee. Well, that's because I drank a big cup of cocoa and been sitting here longer than 20 minutes. Okay, guys, back up. Back up. Come on, back up. Come on, back up. Yeah, that's a good boy. Oh, Jasper and Opal. You guys are the only two going to be on this one. And we just timed out. That was weird. Because I didn't know this one times out. But anyway, I'm timed out. Sounds like the water's slowing down too. So, we'll see you guys in the shop. We hope.